Hello everyone, PallyTime here. Welcome back to Heroes of the Storm. Hope you guys are having a great day. We've landed on Dehaka in our A through Taz Dingo playthrough. The premier gank warrior. What the heck? What is he? Is he a robot? Is he a lizard? Is he both? We don't know. Actually, he's a Zerg. He's the primal Zerg. The idea of Dehaka is that he evolves to meet any situation that he could come into contact with. Any kind of confrontation, boom, he's ready, he can adapt, he's good to go. What's funny about that is his build in Heroes of the Storm for a long time was so one-dimensional that he basically only had one talent in each tier, which is not conducive with his theme at all. Over the course of the last year, we've seen several attempts to take a look at his talents, at least two what I would consider major reworks, and then tons and tons and tons and tons of numbers changing here and there. His W did too much damage. Now it doesn't do enough damage. His Z was too long of a cooldown. It needs to be able to use more often. He has too much health. Doesn't have enough health. Too much health regen. It was like back and forth and back and forth and back and forth. And because of that, I'm not going to really be talking about his stats much at all. Instead, we're going to be talking about mostly talent changes that we saw over the course of the last year. The build that I like in the game right now did not even exist last year, which I think is pretty cool. That being said, I don't play a lot of Dehaka, so please forgive me if I don't do everything perfect. Also, I don't feel like I've been playing very well this past week. I don't really know why. That being said, let's jump in and have some fun. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we find ourselves on Sky Temple today. Pretty good map for Dehaka to be on. One big disadvantage to playing Dehaka is that you're so slow at the start that you can't play the onion game as fast as everybody else. It's like you're AFK at the beginning, but I swear I was here the whole time. Now I'm just queued up things. I'm gonna win, goddammit. Even with my disadvantage, I'm gonna win. Never mind, Anna's creeping over into my lane. What are you doing? What are you doing? How'd I do? 21. That's not good. That's not good.
5, 4.
Wait, who's the winner?
2.
Tell me who the winner is! But that's all I care about. Game ruined. At level 1, we are going to go for enhanced agility, which allows us to increase our movement speed after we enter the brush for a few seconds. I believe that's baseline that he gets movement speed increase. Yeah. So whenever he walks into the brush, he is going to gain a 20% movement speed, which means Dehaka, when he's looking to go long distances, should be jumping in between bush to get to where he's going. With enhanced agility, that movement speed simply lasts for longer. And I may not be entirely correct in saying that this wasn't in the game last year because, to be totally honest, there were so many changes in his talents that I don't remember when it was added. I didn't write it down in my notes, but I don't think it was in the game last year, but even if it was definitely not the popular choice last year. Dehaka's builds a year ago did not have much variety because all of the time, every single game, you were simply whoa, that was weird. You were simply looking to get as much health regen as possible and then focus on just walking into team fights and casting your W ability. You never really auto-attacked at all. You never really, I don't know, there just wasn't much to it. It was just regen, walk in. That's how I would describe his talents before. Let's go ahead and grab, fuck, God, drag's so weird to use if you don't play a lot of Dehaka. Drag as our Q ability is a straight line skill shot, but it's on about a half-second delay from the time you press the button to the time that it actually activates, which means you have to lead your targets, and anyone who's anyone knows that, well, when you're walking directly towards them, you're trying to land grab. Now, you can use this to your advantage, kind of like Kerrigan with the Kerrigan combo, play some mind games with people. If you're walking into them, they're going to start to weave and move around, and if you have that movement speed increase, then all of a sudden, well, they're not really doing much of anything. They're not really gaining any ground on you. And you just gotta walk up and kill him rather than trying to land a CC. We're gonna help out our team here. It seems like they're having a little bit of trouble up at the top lane. I do want to move back to focus Genji just a little bit because he's a bit of a terror. We missed another drag on the enemy team's Artanis, and it looks like my team is pretty much backing off in all regards. We are gonna go for the one who collects. This was a popular talent last year because it allows you to collect as much essence from minions as fast as possible. So basically, I think it doubles, it increases the amount we get by 50%. So we walk into a minion wave, we clear it down with our, am I dead? So I wasn't sure how that interaction would actually work. I wasn't sure what would happen with the chains of Kel'Thuzad if I was underground. Now I know, obviously it doesn't do anything, but my intention there was to just remove the chains from the battlefield. I know that if Tassadar uses Dimensional Warp, it removes the chains from the battlefield and Kel'Thuzad can't use them. I kind of thought it would have a similar reaction. It doesn't, so lesson learned. Now we don't. Let's go ahead and go up to the top lane. So Brush Stalker does have a 60-second cooldown now. It used to be a 45-second cooldown now, and they actually went into the game and removed a lot of the unnecessary brushes on maps like the Garden Terror. So Dehaka, specifically because of his kit's design, has changed how Blizzard thinks about map design as well, which I don't think happens with too many characters, honestly. Kind of an interesting way to look at the game. We are just collecting essence up to 50 here. Once we hit 50, we can no longer collect any more, but we can activate the essence collection, which is our trait, in order to gain a pretty substantial heal. So we need to do a little bit of ebb and flow in matches. We need to have time to ourselves in minion waves like this so we can grab essence, and then we need to have times where we're team fighting in order to use that essence that we collect adequately in fights. Now, unfortunately, I thought I was going to win that trade a lot more. I really thought I had a better chance in that trade, but Artanos did cut me down to size. I had to use all of my essence that I collected there rather than in a bit more interesting of a scenario. I do think I am going to gank here. Kel'Thuzad is pushed up pretty far. We're just going to walk up behind him with Dark Swarm going. This is our W ability, and it's pretty much up all the time with certain builds for Dehaka, not with the build that I run. I did manage to land the drag on Genji, pulling him back into my team so they could secure the kill, and that's a pretty good outcome for that ability. We're going to stand still so Ana can heal me up. We are going to go for basic attacks, reduce drag cooldowns. This means that all of a sudden, a character that was never incentivized to auto attack before is now auto attack friendly. Landing auto attacks on people while they're dragged as you're approaching them, making sure you're marine micro and you're constantly moving in between auto attacks to maintain position, all of a sudden is something that Dehaka is rewarded for, which was never a case in the past. Honestly, if you were auto attacking on Dehaka before, I would say you were kind of doing it wrong. Genji diving into our backline here. We'll go ahead and just try to deal as much damage with Dark Swarm and our auto attacks as we can. Once again, I thought the chains were going to be coming out on me there, so I did a preemptive dive underground with Burrow. That's our E ability. Burrow in the past had a fixed duration, so if you used Burrow, you were going to be underground for a specific amount of time. Now, however, you can reactivate Burrow to leave the area, leave the underground, which is really nice. We're going to go ahead and use our essence that we have collected to heal back up to full health. Another good drag on Genji in that fight is going to take him down. And now we're simply going to push this lane with the remainder of our team. Or we could move back up to the top lane and defend that by using our Brush Stalker activatable. I am going to go for Adaptation here at level 10, which does allow... Here, I'm going to try to get out of the way of Ana's shots. It's just proving a little difficult. Which does allow me to soak a ton of damage at any given time. Pretty good Dutch. And then for a 4-second window, any damage that we take, we're then going to re-heal. So this means we have a potentially full health bar of health on our R ability, a massive amount of health when we're at full essence, and then we can kind of use our mobility with Brush Stalker to move around. So do we have... Okay. So, Brush Stalker's movement speed bonus now lasts for 5 seconds after leaving a brush, rather than, what, 2 seconds or something? And then we're also increasing that movement speed? Yeah, cool. So basically, you don't always have to use your trait to get around, which is really nice. It's a really, really good change. Auto attacks are incentivized a bit more, which is a really good change. Let's pull this guy into the lane and see what we can do. If he wants to hit me, we can deal with that. Actually, we don't know where Genji is, so maybe I don't want to be too cocky here, but... I don't know, feel real cocky all of a sudden. Feel real cocky. Let's drag him back. Oh, I hit a minion with it. God damn it. Well, now that there's a team fight happening in the bottom lane, we could show up here very, very quickly, jumping back in. We'll get this movement speed and walk right up to our adversaries, try to take them down. We do pick up a kill on Genji. Unfortunately, we did lose our Tassadar. We'll go ahead and start to use Adaptation here to soak up damage that these guys are dealing to me and heal back up. We'll go ahead and use our Essence to heal back up once again. And we could just keep fighting. We can just keep this fight going. Pulling Kel'Thuzad out of position now. Unfortunately, we do get put in a fucking zombie wall by our own teammate there. But look, we're back up to 20 essence that we can once again use to keep our health high. And this push just keeps going. if our team follows me. Hi, Ana. Thank you. Thank you. I guess Dezebo backed up to do the objective. That's acceptable. That's acceptable, I guess. But now we have 13 seconds left on our global ability, so rather than just going straight to the objective, what I could do is go to the middle lane and soak XP and use our global advantage to get more XP. And then if it looks like the team needs me down here, which is kind of looking like now, we just immediately go join them. The talent that I picked up here at level 13 increases our auto attack damage based on the amount of essence that we have, which means, again, Dehaka never used to be an auto attack hero at all, but all of a sudden we can auto attack for a ton, especially if we're able to maintain our essence off of the minions in the wave. And now you're seeing that all of a sudden we're not only a formidable force with our ability to crowd control opponents, we're also a formidable force with our ability to just sit there and trade into them in ways that we were never able to do before. Let's see, what else do I have in my notes? Did I mention that Dehaka came out on March 29th, 2016? If that date sounds familiar to you, it's probably because that's Pallytime's Life Appreciation Day, which is the anniversary of my brain surgery, where I encourage everyone to go spend time with their family, do stuff that matters, eat good food. Everything that matters to me, I encourage you all to do on that day with your loved ones. And, eat tacos and send me pictures of them. So I like to imagine that Dehaka was Blizzard's gift to me on Pallytime's Life Appreciation Day, even though I know that that's probably not true. We're just going to clean up the wave really quick here in the top lane and then make our way middle because it looks like our team is fighting a little bit. Ana is just sitting back in the base right now, though. Maybe looking for an Eye of Horus opportunity. That's definitely a possibility, but it kind of looks like she's just standing there as of right now. We are going to burrow down to the bottom lane, try to catch this Kel'Thuzad. We are overextending for this a lot, but remember, we have Adaptation, so any damage that we take right now, we're just going to heal back up for anyway. We can pull Sylvanas back in, secure a kill there, and now all of our team's looking pretty composed. We're going to be able to push in middle, no problem. Hey, it'd help if we had our healer. That would be real helpful. Feels bad, man. So I was trying to intercept the swap there for our Tassadar. It didn't quite work out that way. We can move back in here and try to help out now, though. What I like about this build is not only do we get more crowd control when we auto-attack, but obviously we deal more damage when we auto-attack as well. So we could use our drag significantly more often than we could in the past, which is great. Feels great. Amazing change. Oh, I thought that was on me again. Dude, our burrows have not been on point this game. We can now go for either elongated tongue to increase our drag range, makes us a little more consistent with landing it, or go for paralyzing enzymes. Do I want to stick around here? I don't know, I was kind of feeling adventurous. If we find ourselves in a situation we don't want to be in, we could just kind of leave though. You know what I mean? We just kind of leave. We need to get this essence middle really quick. Here, we'll just zip around these guys before we commit too hard. We're gonna go for drag range. All right, go ahead. Adaptation is active. We are gonna have to burrow underground in order to stay alive, I think. Oh, adaptation wasn't active, fuck. Okay, we'll activate it now. I need more essence. Shit, it's all going to hell. Ah! So Ana's middle, Tassadar I think died, was respawning, and we're pushing top. So, I mean, that was not a good fight for me to engage in at all, and I should have known that. So some common misconceptions on Dehaka: you don't need to spend your essence in order to generate this enhanced agility. That's not required at all. That was a big misconception when it was released. I got a lot of comments about how dumb I was getting that wrong, which is funny looking back on that. Looks like Genji's gonna just do Genji shit and wipe up our whole team. Feels bad, feels real bad. Meanwhile, Gazlo is still pushing top. Looks like he's doing relatively okay doing it. Gazlo's bugged right now. Minions don't prioritize his buildings at all, which is kind of an odd bug. How does that happen? I'm so interested in how bugs happen. Like, how does one change in code for Ana mess up the gameplay of Gazlo turrets? You know, how's that happen? I think it's so interesting. All right, we're done with our quest now, which means we have unlocked our race car in its full capacity. We can simply jump in here. Then all of a sudden we start moving at 140% movement speed. This used to be mount speed, but mount speed moved down to 130, I believe. So we're actually faster than mounts. I think that's pretty amazing. Can we catch Genji? It looks like we can, but the shove of Stukov is going to move us back in the other direction. Nicely done there. We're still losing allies all over the place, and I'm not too sure how. Sylvanas is pushing in middle. We're going to go ahead and just back it on up, boys. Just back it on the fuck up. How's the wall going? Oh, not well. Not well. We're losing this now. The enemy team is rotating down here to empower their boss a little bit as well. It looks like Sylvanas still staying middle, actually, so they are split. Kel'Thuzad moving in with the help of Genji is a pretty terrifying thing. Let's go ahead and pull Kel'Thuzad back in, get that Archon damage out on him. We'll go ahead and pop Adaptation right now and try to heal up a little bit. We're now going to use our essence that we've been collecting to heal up one more time. We're not going to be able to grab Genji just yet, but if Stukov continues to run, you better believe that we can chase him. Once I hit this bush, we're going to be moving at race car speeds once more. Nice shove, however, is going to move me back in the other direction. Doesn't matter if they're not retreating fast enough. We could just re-engage. Now focusing on Sylvanas here. She's trying to use her Banshees to get away. Looks like she'll be able to start doing that. But will she be able to get all the way out? That remains to be seen. Our friendly team really not showing me a lot of love for progressing in here. Thank you for the heals. All right, we're picking up kills now. So I'm happy. We're chilling. Let's go ahead and grab this camp really quick, and then we can pick up our level 20 talent as well. We are going to go for Essence Claws. So this is going to allow us to generate essence from just auto-attacking heroes. Basic attacks slows the target by 20% for 1 second. If the target is a hero, Dehaka gains 5 essence. This means we can rapidly spend and generate more essence, especially in a position where we're dueling one enemy player. There's no way he can get away from me here. It's not gonna happen. It's just not gonna happen. And then we can use our essence that we just generated and get our health back up without having to go farm a lane. Now that being said, I am gonna go clean this up. I got it. Go help. I need the essence anyway. Know what I'm saying? Sylvanas in the middle lane is looking pretty tantalizing. I wouldn't mind moving in there. Now, this does give up a pretty good talent called Apex Predator, which reduces the cooldown of our Brush Stalker, the active component of it, by a pretty substantial amount. I think it's 25 seconds off. So we can be kind of all over the map at any given time, but that 25-second reduction is not as good as it used to be. Remember, Brush Stalker used to only have a 45-second cooldown. Let's go ahead and move in here and try to keep this guy controlled. We'll go ahead and use our essence right out of the gate. Start generating more essence here. Hopefully they're doing okay above me. Start generating more essence here. Drag this guy back, make sure he can't get away. Generate more essence. Remember, every time we attack, we're lowering the cooldown of our Q ability, so we could potentially pull him back in again. We can zip right in front of him now. And remember, we move faster than him as well. So if he's fighting in this position, there's no way that he can get away from us. Middle lane is looking pretty easy to finish off, so I'll just go ahead and auto-attack that one time. And go ahead and use our essence again. Why? Because we have it off cooldown. Once we get rid of all the essence, we could start just generating more. I don't know what I had to say about cooldowns there, but it was not accurate at all. We'll go ahead and use Adaptation now that we're getting a little overwhelmed, but I honestly think we're going to be A-okay. And look at this trading. This is not something that Dehaka could have done last year in any capacity. But just look at him going, and now I'm already back to full health just by attacking, just by being aggressive. And it's such a fucking fun play style, and I cannot recommend it enough. It's like one of my favorite warriors in the game right now for just his ability to go in and trade like this. Now, that being said, I don't play him enough. I really should play him more. But look at all this bullshit I've lived through. It's pretty insane. I would have really liked to have a shield from Tassadar, but you know what? That's okay. I think I've proven my point adequately enough. The next objective is going to be coming up very soon. The friendly team should be able to get that no problem. Once we res in 54 seconds, we're going to be able to use our global mobility to join them in on that fight. Dude, Tassadar just stands still. He's not afraid of anything. He's like, you know what I'm going to do? attack 8 times and then just into this deflecting Genji, not even give a fuck. You have to appreciate the gusto there. You have to appreciate the bravery. Let's see. So, I feel like I've explained my build adequately enough for how I like to play Dehaka this year. Remember, the majority of this synergy we get from Feeding Frenzy, we get from Primal Rage, and we get from Essence Claws was not in the game last year. What most people did on Dehaka last year was go for Tissue Regeneration. Every 50 Essence collected permanently increases the health regeneration by 4 up to a maximum of 40. And, up to 40, and maximum Essence by 1 up to 10. What does that mean? Regeneration globes grant 10. Oh. So regeneration globes would give us essence. So if you're farming the lane, you're good to go there. It's basically his regeneration master. Let's go ahead and move in on our Kel'Thuzad friend here, who doesn't have any cooldowns. Go ahead and start using Adaptation now. We'll pull him back in, keep him controlled. We'll heal up for all this damage that he just dealt with that Adaptation. And now we're pretty much good to go do whatever we want to. Hi, Sylvanas, let's attack me. Whereas before, last year, we'll go ahead and use our Essence, build it up again pretty quickly here, keep this guy controlled, build up more Essence. By the time our Essence collection is off cooldown again, we're already halfway up to the cap on that Essence collection, which means that, well, I can use my Essence collection again if I wanted to. Meanwhile, down in the bottom lane, I guess Nazeebo got a boss by himself. We could just end the game right now, pretty easily actually. God, it's such a fun way to play. But last year, people were just getting the one who collects. They were getting more Essence health regen. They were picking up Adaptation to heal for more. And they were simply going for cooldown reduction on his W ability on the Dark Swarm, which is the AoE around you. And they were also going for armor degradation. There we go. That was hard to say. On the Dark Swarm around you as well. So you would walk into the enemy team, reduce everyone's armor by 25%, and just basically have no cooldown on your W while you're doing that, constantly lowering everyone's armor, and you would just heal with your Essence that you'd be collecting from minion waves and healing with Adaptation. But there was no really good way to continue to regenerate Essence in the middle of a fight. And once your cooldown was done, you kind of just waited, or once your crowd control cooldown was used, you were just kind of waiting around for the fight for that to come back up, just rubbing your bodies on things. This is a lot more of aggressive of a playstyle. You're definitely incentivized to weave your auto attacks in, and it's really, really fun. So what we did today: Enhanced Agility level 1, one who collects, Feeding Frenzy, Adaptation, Primal Rage, Elongated Ton, and Essence Claws. I do believe that the vulnerability that this gives was nerfed. Dark Swarm causes enemies hit to lose 10 armor for 0.75 seconds. Which means they take 10% increased damage. I think this used to be 15%, maybe it was even 20% before. It felt like a lot, and the fact that it could be up all the time was pretty strong. You can still do the cooldown reduction here. It's not as much cooldown reduction as you used to get, but if you wanted to just play Dehaka like you used to, that option is still there. But I'm so glad they went back and just kept making changes to this talent build until they felt like they got it right, because my favorite build for Dehaka was created because of that. Hope you guys enjoyed today's video. If you did, you know what to do. Hit the thumbs up button, subscribe to the channel if you're new, and we'll try to continue to release this A through Z content on a fairly regular basis, and hopefully we don't get demonetized anymore. Up next, we do have Diablo, the Primal Terror, the Primal Lord, whatever is the Primal Evil. That's it. I figured it out. Did he get his rework in the last year? I think he did. He has some pretty interesting talents with his knockback now that can be pretty amazing versus certain heroes. I never really liked Diablo that much in the past, but he's really, really good right now. Devil's Due. Oh my God, don't even get me started. Anyway, we'll save this for the next video. Thank you all for watching. I'll see you all next time.